August. He stopped by and gave me some of his background, and I asked him if he would come and speak to us, and he graciously has accepted, and so I hope you had a safe trip anyway. I don't think you need
Charlie, hi, good evening. I'm sorry I'm a little late, but it's actually a lot of snow between here and where I came from. It's kind of a mean evening out on the highway, and there was a pretty bad accident on 84, so I've been sitting in traffic. But I'm really happy to be here. I really enjoyed meeting Art. We had no problem finding this place because we saw the Dump Dodd signs all over the place. And I came and visited Art because he had contacted me, and we struck up a good conversation. We really, really appreciate all he's doing and all you're doing here to attract attention to this race. It's really making a big difference. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. First, I'd like to tell you a little story. I have an 18-year-old son, and just a little less than a year ago, he was finishing up his college applications, and I took the opportunity to have a little advice session with him about the importance of college and sort of your first adult experience that you're held accountable for, and the one that you really need to lean into so that you can do well, and that opportunities in this great country open up for people who perform well. And at the time, if you recall, the financial crisis was in full bloom, and some people, including myself, weren't clear whether the wheels were going to come completely off of this economy or not. And so I had to think, when I was talking to him about the types of opportunities he had had, whether or not they would actually be as good as the opportunities that my generation had had. And that seemed like it might be a terrible shame if that weren't the case. And I certainly didn't want to be part of a generation that hadn't been good stewards of the opportunity and treasure that we've all been given. So that's what first started me thinking about getting into this race. The other thing that started me thinking about getting into this race was watching Nancy Pelosi and Barney Frank and Chris Dodd and others running around in Washington, the supposed experts who are going to solve this problem. So,
I'd like to know how you differentiate yourself from the other Republicans who are also running for the position.
Okay. Well, there are 4 others this week. As of 5 o'clock this afternoon, there are only 4 others. Rob Simmons and I think, are considered the odds-on leaders in the race. Rob is a fine guy, but he also is a career politician. He's never had a job outside of a government job. And I think he's going to have a hard time making the argument against Chris Dodd that he's not part of the problem. That he served in Washington for 6 years, so he's certainly a Washington insider. He's a career politician. He can't say he's bringing expertise and knowledge in from the outside and a fresh approach, as I believe I can. None of the other candidates have any foreign policy experience. The Senate oversees the U.S. foreign policy apparatus of the executive branch, so it actually is an important experience for a U.S. Senator to have in performing the job. Sam Caligiuri, also a second-term state senator, again, a lot of the same issues as differentiating me from him, differentiates me from Rob. But Sam's going to have a very hard time raising enough money to launch a credible campaign. Then you have Peter Schiff, who's a Ron Paul follower, and he's on a book tour right now. Nobody really knows. He said he's running, but he's not really running, so we don't know what he's doing. Okay, and if he, assuming there's a primary, and if he lasts to the primary, I'm sure there's some Ron Paul followers in the state who'll vote for him. But the last time a Ron Paul devotee was running in a primary here in Connecticut, I think the person only won about 4.5% of the vote, the primary voters. So I suspect he might get something like that. So he's not somebody who's going to win, and he's not somebody who could beat Chris Dodd, for sure. And then Linda McMahon has just gotten in the race. She and I actually have business profiles, business backgrounds, so she can make all the same arguments about being an outsider and not being a career politician. She comes from a very different business from mine. She comes from the entertainment business. I'm sure you all know she's involved in world wrestling. She doesn't have any government experience or foreign policy experience. I think there's some question about whether or not she's actually a Republican. She's given more money to Democrats over her life than Republicans, and she said she did it for business reasons. Actually, if I had to advise her, I'd say, well, I wouldn't say that, because that's part of the problem we're trying to solve. You know, I don't like it when I'm not taking any PAC money. I'm not taking money from special interests. Wouldn't be taking any money from businesses. I don't think businesses should be contributing to political campaigns and trying to influence or buy influence with politicians. But that's what they're doing with Senator Dodd. 40% of his money comes from employees who work for financial institutions and PACs that are part of financial institutions that he oversees on the banking committee. Go ahead.
That's one.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen with all the jobs going out of the country and all the products coming in, especially from China? Everything you buy says made in China.
Yeah. Well, I think that's dropping as a result of the economy being down, and with the dollar being weak, it will make products that are made in China and India more expensive here, and our products less expensive over there. But the flip side of that is the dollar is too weak as a result of this government spending so much money and taking on all these potential future liabilities that we could risk tipping the whole global monetary system upside down. And if we lose the reserve currency status on the dollar, we're all going to get a lot poorer overnight, and it's going to be dramatic. And I would say we're not that far from there if they don't do something.
If you want to buy American, these are made in California. The yard signs are made in Houston, Texas, and the bumper stickers are made in Illinois. And we're selling as many as we can print.
Good.
Secondly, a week ago tonight, I saw you up in Windsor. Do you like the lighting better than up there?
Much better, yes.
The one thing I really liked you said up in Windsor, which you mentioned here again today, you thank God for the Tea Party people. And I do too, because I'm one of them. With the Dump Dodd, I was invited because I was all over the state. We were all over the state. We're invited to join the Hartford Tea Party Patriots back in May, and I did. I'm now one of the organizers. And I just want to invite you and your staff down to Stamford on the 23rd, which is a Friday. Senator Dodd is having a fundraiser at the Stamford Hilton Hotel.
President's going to be there.
President's going to be there. We're going to start our rally at 4:30, and we'd like to see as many of the candidates that are running against Dodd as possible down in the trenches, shoulder to shoulder, in solidarity with us. We've been at the Tea Parties all over the state of Connecticut and even in other states. Cliff and I went up to Portsmouth to the Obama town hall meeting up there back in August 11th. So if we see you in the trenches with us, you're going to have more of our votes.
Okay, good.
And that's the invitation that I extend to you on behalf of the
4:30 on the 23rd.
4:30.
All right, thanks very much. Really enjoyed being with you. It's a pleasure.
I just want to let you know, this is a small group, but it's diverse.
Yes.
It's not only from the town of Woodbury, okay? There are people from other towns, people with other points of views also, not just the Tea Party views, okay? But we all feel what we want is a candidate who will represent the people and listen to us.
We the people.
Yes?
We the people.
And thank you again for coming.
My pleasure.